Hello, it's Emily. I'm just going to do a little video of the character creator for Happy Fun Time RP. Just going over sort of some tips of how to create a character. Not going really in depth on anything like the different hairs and the different clothing, but just a little kind of guide for anybody who is new to creating a character on an RP server or even just GTA in general. So first off, you would have your character slots here, and you have up to 5 different character slots. So you would click empty, register. Then you would add in your details of your character. I'll just put in anything here. You would pick basically your frame is basically the sex part here. And then you can add in your pronouns as well for your character. Once that's created, you will select here. And this will load up the actual character creator. Here we go. So first thing to point out, you'll notice this section that says PED. Just ignore this section. You don't want to play around with anything here. Just leave it as the model that it gives you, because that's the model that's going to allow you to customize it. If you select anything else, you might run into some problems, so just ignore it. It's not there. So we have your inheritance, which is basically your face, how your character looks. So one thing that is good to do is you can see this little video icon. This allows you to zoom up to the face, the body, or your little feeties. So always good to just go into the face when you're doing the face. So you'll see there's a few different options here. And you'll notice it says like father and mother. So if we scroll along, say father, it gives us different models of faces. Now, if I scrolled along mother, that gives me the exact same faces. So what you can do is you can select a face, say, from the father one. Then you would go to mother. Now, as you can see, nothing's changing at the moment when I'm scrolling through that because we've got our mix at 0. As soon as I put this mix bar up, as you can see, it's mixing the face that you've entered in for father and the face that you've entered in mother. So lets you create a bit more of a combination between faces if you would like to. As you can see, the more you put it to this way, it's going to look more like the mother face. The more you're at 0, it's going to look like the father face. And this kind of the same works along these here. This can change your skin tone and complexion. And again, you can mix this with the below mother one as well and make different combinations. So it's always good to just give yourself a little bit of time, play around with the different mixes of the faces until you find one that seems right. You are able to, when we get to face features, do a little bit more tweaking. So we'll do that next. So when we go into face features, we've got different options here that will basically just tweak little aspects of the face. Another little tip to do, particularly if you're doing like the little facial features tweaking here, you can turn your character model round just so you can see different angles of their face. So say we wanted to change the nose a little bit. This is changing our bone height on the bridge. This is changing the size in general. This can give you a bit of a twist in your nose. Again, some features, if you've done any kind of character creators, you'll know you'll have to change kind of the angle to see the effect. So we've got a few different options here. Your eyebrows, cheeks, eyes and mouth. This kind of makes it a bit more, the eyes a little bit more closed and a bit more open. Jaw, chin and neck. So moving on from that, then we have your appearance. And this is when you would start to just, make your character kind of come to life a little bit. So we have all our hair options. Now the first lot of hair options, these are default. These come with GTA basically. So these are your default hairs. Now I did say I wasn't going to show every single hair, which I won't do, but just as an example. So we go through all these default hairs here. There is quite a few default hairs, and now we're on to custom hairs. So these are hairs that we have we found online and that we have added into the game. So these aren't actually base hairs, but as you can see, they're a bit different and sometimes a little bit nicer. So play around, look at all those hairstyles and see basically what suits. There is a texture feature here. This generally won't work with any custom hairs, just to let you know. So these are probably going to be working with base. You've also have a fade section here. Again, you can play around with that. It's going to change basically how the scalp looks more than anything. So yeah, just playing around with that sort of stuff. Naturally, you've got your hair colour. As you can see, there's 2 bars here, and that can change kind of how the colour looks. So say we had that kind of reddish, we put the blonde. It gives a kind of a bit more of a strawberry blonde, which is actually quite nice. Then you've got your eyebrows. You'll notice straight away your character doesn't have any eyebrows, but that's just because this is set quite low. This is at 0. As soon as you bump this up, you'll start to see the eyebrows. So after your eyebrows, you've got your eye colour here. Pretty self-explanatory. And then you've got makeup options as well. And there's a few different makeup options. Now, obviously, as you can see, it is shown at 0, so always make sure to bump this up, and you'll be able to see the makeup a little bit better. And again, we've got 2 colour palettes, lets you sort of play around with different styles. There's a lot of different makeup options in there, so enjoy finding them. Then we've got blush and your lipstick. We also have beard options, which I think we have 28 options for beards. Then you've got blemishes. So this kind of stuff, like your blemishes, your aging, your complexions, sun damage, mole and freckles, chest hair, all this stuff here is going to be really handy for just kind of giving your character more of a unique look. Takes away from that sort of default GTA look. So, you know, play around with all these features, changing this section, changing the styles, just to kind of get a vibe of what works best sort of for your character. Okay, now we have your clothing options here. As you can see, there's quite a lot of different options, and I'm not going to go through every single option here. It's, you know, it's a lot about what works best for your character. But there's a couple of things I want you to point out when it comes to doing clothing in GTA. So you have your jackets, which, as you can see, isn't just jackets. There is actual tops in there. And that is expected. That is how the jackets. So see, I always kind of see jackets as your main top. This is, you know, you can't take this off. This is your main base of your outfit. But of course there is actual jackets. So this is where the shirt feature comes into it. And this is where if you're wearing something that is opened up and is going to show an underbit, you can change so you can have a shirt underneath. But of course, say we want to have this t-shirt. We're seeing a bit of that shirt poking through. So there's a couple of shirt options, like 2 here. That actually hides, and we'll do a little spin round, that actually hides that undershirt. So we're not going to see that poking through. We're just going to see the jacket as the t-shirt. Hopefully that makes sense. But where's the shoulder gone? What's going on with the arm? So this is where it's fun a little bit with GTA characters. There's an option here called hands. And you're going to do a lot of playing around with these hands to get hands that basically match the top that you're wearing. So, as you see there, I put that at 2, and that looks good from the front. Let's do a little spin, and it looks good from the back as well. So we can probably be certain this is going to be okay. What you may have to do sometimes is pick a top, you'll pick the arms, it's going to look great. You then save it. Then you go around as your character and you might start seeing little gaps underneath their arms, which isn't great. Good way to check it is to hit X and do B for pointing, and you'll see your character moving their arms. You'll see if there's any holes. If there is any holes, you'll have to just kind of go back into the outfit creator and just play around a little bit more with the hands. But it happens to us all. Most people will point it out if they maybe see a little rip in your outfit. But yeah, just playing around with the hands, you will definitely find something that will match. The hands as well, the further we go back into the hands, we start to get gloves. As you can see, not all gloves are going to match completely with the outfit, but there is definitely like multiples of the gloves. So you will find something that works with the top that you've picked. Legs, pretty self-explanatory. That's your legs. You got your shoes. You also have decals, which can add things to tops. Just be careful with them because, as you can see, that doesn't work. So just, you know, if you're playing around with this feature, If there's nothing that you like the look of, just always make sure to go to 0, and that's going to make sure there's no decals at all on your outfits. Never trust going just to 1, because that looks safe, but it's going to have a weird thing on the back, which we cannot see because the hair is in the way, but trust me, it's there. So just have it at 0. Then you've got your props. This is your hats. Now, as you'll notice, these hats look a little bit funny with this hair. So custom hairs and hats, they don't tend to get on. They're not best buddies. So if you are picking one of the custom hairs, just bear in mind, a lot of hats are going to look a little bit strange. So you might want to just not put a hat on. For hats, make sure you've always got it set as -1 if you're not planning to have a hat, by the way. That will make sure there's no hat. Same with glasses, same with ear, watches, brackets. -1 is meaning nothing is on you. But yeah, you just play around, see what glasses you like, see if you want any earrings, any watches or bracelets. And last but not least, we've got tattoos. So again, just playing around. Now, just because you've put it here and you see it there, it doesn't mean it's actually on your character. You would have to click apply. And you can do this multiple. So if you see several different arm tattoos and they make sense to work, so some will be on the top of the arm, some will be on the lower of the arm. If you hit apply, that will make sure that adds it, and then you can go back and add some more if you needed to. And that is it. That is it for basically the character creator. There's a couple of different things, you know, with custom clothing that you'll probably work out the more you play around. For example, in shirts, as you can see, we've got some skirts in there. That's just because custom clothing can sometimes be a little bit strange like that. So just always have a look around, take some time to just play about, see what's in there, see what works. So for example, say I picked a skirt that's from the shirt section. I would just go into legs and find a pair of legs that should just be pants. There we go. That is just a pair of pants. So that makes those legs work. But yeah, hopefully this makes sense and isn't just a complete big ramble. But if there is anybody who has any questions or needs any little bit of help, you know, just drop us a little ticket, and we can help out. Thanks. Bye.